I don't know what happened. I was busy getting ready for everything, and now when I look down, I couldn't understand what happened with time.
That's okay. I started watching submarine videos on YouTube. So
I'm sorry.
I got lost in it all. Are we having video?
Yeah, can you see me? I can't see myself, so I don't know.
No, you need to toggle that. Oh, look at that. Here you are. Let me just fix my lighting.
Technology.
Sami Hall Says. Surely that's not your full name.
No, I'm a Samantha Hall, but I don't think anyone's ever called me Samantha. It's always Sammy.
Yes. Well, listen, I must say, so I was lying in bed one night and my wife's like, look, just quickly watch this. I'm like, no, I don't want to see videos now of random people. No, I insist, watch this. I can't remember which video it was, but it was so funny. And we were already out of the country for several years. So the whole vibe that you were creating with your videos was so great, and it just stirred a bit of longing inside. And I must say, we've been following you ever since. And every so often when I feel like I miss home, then I would jump on YouTube and I'll look up a few comedians just to have a good laugh. Would you like to take a few minutes just to introduce yourself?
First of all, thank you. So I am Sami Hall, and basically it just started as a way to laugh at our problems. And whenever I can make someone else laugh at serious stuff that's actually not funny, then it makes me feel good. So I'm just here to have a good time, and everything's very serious at the moment. Like, there's a lot to complain about. But if we can laugh a bit, why not?
I absolutely agree. And I must look, sometimes the things that people joke about aren't always necessarily funny. And since moving to Australia, we've had several things that happened here, like a third of the country burnt down in our first year that we were here. And then the year after that, we had COVID. And one thing stayed consistent. They always made so much jokes about it. And then I'm sitting there, I'm like, how can you joke about these things? They're quite serious. And they told me, listen, this is how we get over it. This is how we deal with it. And I realized, laughter is the best medicine. Now, you've got 2 YouTube channels. Do you want to tell us a bit more about each one of them? Let's start with your first one. And then after that, let's head over to your latest launch, which you had your first video yesterday.
Yes, so both YouTube channels are quite new. The one is it's Sami Hall Says, and I'm still figuring a lot of things out at the moment. I'm just doing what I feel like. But I'm working on a few series on this platform. And then yesterday we launched our first podcast video on the Blêrie Podcast YouTube channel. So that's a brand new channel. We don't know what we're doing, if I'm being honest, but that's how it's been for the past 3 years. I don't know what I'm doing most of the time, but I just go with it. So it was very exciting. It was so much fun to film, and I hope people enjoy it.
Well, I surely did. I'm actually still watching the first video. It's like catching up with the news. If you're not knowing what's going on in the world, just go into the Blêrie Podcast, and you'll quickly learn what's going on everywhere. I don't know if you've ever seen Have I Got News For You, which is a show in the UK, and they feature like a panel of celebrities, and then there's a few comedians in there that's always part of the cast. And they would take the headlines of the week and they would just break it apart, and you would be laughing just like constantly. The show reminds me so much of it, except it's South African, it's original, and it's so funny. And
no, thank you. That's a massive compliment, because I love British humor. I love the British type of panel shows, and you have all this like familiar faces, these comedians, and they talk about serious stuff, but it's so funny. So that's a big compliment. Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, you you obviously started off, am I right in assuming you started this off as just a joke to yourself, really, where you were like, just this is sort of funny, so I'll just keep on doing this. Now, I know of several comedians that started off that way, and now they're touring internationally. Tell me, is that in your scope? Are you planning anything like that in the future? Because I can tell you now, I'll buy tickets, and my wife will buy tickets.
Thank you. Well, it's definitely on my mind. It's on my mind the whole time. I would love to do that, but I'm working on it. I want it, like, if I do a tour, I want it to be good. And I'm still a bit nervous because, like I said, I don't know what I'm doing, but that's definitely in the works. I'm just in the planning stages. But sometimes you need to get out of the planning stages. Like with the podcast, me and Alex, A-Rod, we've been talking about doing this podcast for so long, and you put it off because you want everything to be perfect. And at some point we were just like, okay, we're doing it now. If it's like whatever happens will happen. But at some point you just have to jump in.
You mentioned briefly about your partner, which is your friend Alex. He's the other one on the Blêrie Podcast. You want to tell us a bit about him as well?
Yes, so he's a DJ. He does a lot of gigs and stuff at clubs and that type of thing. And we met back in 2011 at Jacaranda FM. We both worked at the radio station, and we dated back in the day, but it didn't work out. But we remained good friends, and whenever we had a conversation, it just goes completely haywire, and people in the area would be like, what are you doing? And we thought we need to share that with the world. So yeah, we've known each other for years, so it's very comfortable. We are very comfortable with each other. Yeah,
that's a great story. I mean, it's the fact that you guys stayed friends and you're bouncing the best off each other, basically, because the two of you complement each other really well for the Blêrie Podcast, and I'm definitely gonna share that as wide and hard as I can. The question that I had in my mind, because we're living in a world where we at 10 p.m. whenever we make it to bed, we sort of fall into the bottomless pit of TikTok and Facebook watch, and it's a sort of a scroll, and that is where your videos currently is most popular. Is that right?
Yes, I think my most successful platform at the moment is Facebook, oddly enough, and then TikTok, then Instagram. The thing is, you can never tell. You never know what video is going to do well. Sometimes the one you spend the most time on doesn't really gain traction, and then a random one just goes viral. So you can't really plan anything. I think you should just remain authentic and do your thing, and then whoever likes it will like it. I think that's the easiest way, because you can't really know what people are going to like.
That's true. I mean, my celebrity videos, they do all right, but they don't do as well as my interviews with the everyday South African, if you know what I mean. So people want videos that they can relate to. I've got a good feeling about your videos because they can relate to those things. You're not just making up jokes that you sit with a piece of paper and try and figure out and write down. You're making fun of everyday occurrences. And for most South Africans, that's the only way to deal with those things. And you do it really well.
Thank you. Well, people get a little heartful of the whole celebrity thing because we can't relate. We are not rich and famous and whatever. So I think there's a shift in that. So this is where TikTok comes in, where people just share their everyday experiences. And when I first downloaded TikTok in the lockdown, I was like, these people are just as weird as me, and it made me feel good. It made me laugh. Like, we are the same. So I think that's just the authenticity is what people like.
I'm quite interested in what sort of comments do you get? What do people tell you about your videos? Things that actually encourages you just to keep going.
Yes, the majority of the comments are so sweet and kind and nice, and people saying, you know what, I needed a laugh today, and we need to laugh about these things. It's generally just kind and lovely comments, which I like. And not just towards me. Sometimes people would be, nice to one another in the comment section, which I love seeing. You get the odd lelike comment, but I don't
block it.
steer myself.
Block it out. Just block it out. That's yeah. I've seen some of those. I sort of steer my down. Now,
yeah,
I'm really interested. So look, we spoke about the possibility of stepping into more stand-up comedy scene in the future, and I can see you're going to do really well in it. I know I can't see myself standing on a stage talking to people, and I'd be nervous as hell, but oh, absolutely. But I'm sure as soon as you start getting into it, it's just going to come to you naturally. Now, as a warm up for those days, whenever, do you mind if I put you on the spot a bit? Do you wanna do a bit of an act for us?
What's it going to be about?
Give us a news update. Come on. How's things going? How's things going?
Well, I just found out that there's a possibility that there's going to be some sort of thingamabob installed into every house that's going to switch your geyser off for you. And you don't have a say. It's not like you can say yes, no. So the government will decide when you shower. It's no longer your choice. So I just heard about this, and it's not laughable at all. But what else can we do? So that's coming. I don't bath at the same time every day. I just, when there's a goetjie, I go, okay, now I'm going to go and bath. But not in the future. Then they will tell you, your bath time is 2 a.m. in the morning. Work your plans around accordingly.
Oh, that's very good. Well, at least they're going to warn you.
Yeah, similar issues in Australia.
No. Well, you'd be surprised of the issues we have here. Like, for instance, where I am now, I'm really struggling with my internet. I've got 20 megs download. I've got about 4 megs upload, and I'm used to much faster than that because we just moved here about 2 months ago. At work, my daytime job, I'm a IT guy at a school. We've got 1,000 over 1,000. That's just like this. I mean, I can upload this video to YouTube in seconds. Yeah, I'm going to have to like stand on something and sort of hold the laptop in one hand and hope I'm getting good reception.
That is a problem. Yeah, all the time. Because when the electricity goes off, so does the signal.
Yeah.
So then when people go to the shops, they have to have cash, because even the ATMs don't work if there's not signal, if there's load shedding. So it's all, you have to work around it.
Well, how selfish is that? I mean, they should consider. I don't even want to go onto that topic, because when we were still in South Africa, load shedding was a joke. I mean, it would happen and we would like laugh about it. And then 5 years out of the country, I would speak to my mates and they would be like, nah, it's not funny. It's not funny anymore. At least I wanted to say something about the thing, the geyser thing you were talking about. At least the government tells you when they're going to be switching your geyser off. I mean, imagine you standing there just like in the best part of your shower where you know your favorite song is playing in your head and you're about to hit that perfect pitch, and then suddenly the warm water goes. I mean, that'll truly upset me.
Yeah, but I think we need to prepare for that, because the government also gives us a load shedding schedule, and that is like so unreliable. It's not like, you would think if it says it goes off at 8 o'clock and it doesn't go off, you'd think you'd be happy, but you're not, because you're like, why isn't it off now? Is it going to go off at 20 past 8? Is it not going to go off at all? What's happening? So now if we don't have load shedding, we are worried. So we are just, as South Africans, we all just need therapy at this point. We are ruined because we're confused if we have electricity. Like, what are they doing?
It's like playing Russian roulette. You're not sure.
Yeah.
Sami Hall. Thank you, Samantha Hall. Thank you so much.
Sami is fine.
Okay, I'll stick.
Samantha, thank you. think I'm in trouble.
Thank you so much for your time. So just as a reminder to everyone watching the video, the two podcasts out there is Sami Hall Says, and the second one is the Blêrie Podcast. And both of them are out there. You just launched your first video on the Blêrie Podcast yesterday, 17 hours ago, if I'm correct, because that's what the time on my YouTube tells me. And I will make sure to link both those channels in the description. See if we can get if we can help the South Africans to find you and have a good laugh. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for the chat.